percentage of your cut, and what's your percentage of the law firm cut from the profit? And
Um,
however you feel comfortable.
no, I appreciate that. It's
People want to know.
I will say this: it fluctuates on the file, and it depends. There's a lot of different factors that go into that. It's a fairly complex formula. It's simply higher if I'm funding the file. Like it's more than 50% for me if I'm funding the file. They get less than 50%. Now, how much more than 50% it is can fluctuate depending on the file and how that formula is being calculated for that file. It's a fairly, as you can probably imagine, I have lawyers drafting up contracts are fairly depending. There's pages and pages on how this is calculated. So, but it can be fairly thing, but it's more than 50%. It can go as high as 75 to 80% depending on what's going on. It just depends on the file.
You mean the law firm's cut?
No, my cut.
Oh, your cut. So,
Yeah.
so what's the range again? Your cut?
Well, if on files that I'm funding, so
Yeah.
if the money, if I'm paying, if I've intercepted it into the pipeline and put the money on it, then I'm going to get more money than them on the fee. So
then being the law firm or the client?
The law firm.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Got
it.
Yeah. So if the fee is $100,000 as an example, and I've intercepted this file in the pipeline, and I've now assumed the financial risk of that file at that point, then my fee cut of that $100,000 would be higher, and it would be more than theirs. How much more than theirs, again, would depend on the file, and to some extent, it depends where I've intercepted it in the pipeline. Did I intercept it early or did I intercept it later? Depending on how that's going to fluctuate out, and whether or not I'm going to get up to the 80% or down to 60% or something. So it varies a bit across the board.
What about your client?
The client?
Yeah.
What do I charge? What do we charge the client?
In terms of percentage ranges.
Yeah. Okay.
However you feel comfortable.
No, that's fair. No, well, this is how we market too, so I don't mind. Yeah. So depending on the case, I mean, the average contingency rate is 30%. On medical malpractice cases, we tend to charge 33. I think in Ontario we charge 40 because I have some cases in Ontario as well. So I might be charging 40% in Ontario because I think they allow that for medical malpractice cases. For car accident cases, it tends to be 30. I tend to charge a lot of times 24% simply because the firm that I sort of spent 16 years with, that's what they did. And so when I moved and I kind of came with that mindset of 24%. And of course, same clients and people referred back and they're used to the 24%. So I'm not going to suddenly jack up their rates. So I might tend to charge on average 24%, but the average across the board tends to be 30%.